Hello and welcome back to the Victorious Wool podcast. I'm Victoria. I'm a hand knit pattern designer living on an island in the Puget Sound of Washington State. I've been designing since 2018 and I just released a pattern last week called the Fjord Shawl. I've been talking about it a lot on my YouTube channel. It's out. You can buy it at VictoriousWool.com and on Ravelry. Just look up the Fjord Shawl. Fjorde. It's perfect for November. It's been so cold. Unseasonably? No, not unseasonably cold, but we're gonna have more days in the 30s, I think, this winter than you normally do. So we're supposed to get a real cold one. So I'm so glad I have something this warm to grab on the way out the door. But I have lots of other things to show you. So let's get to it. Right off the bat. The big completion here. So, this is First Light by Woodland Knits. Her name is Liv. She's a European designer. This is from the bottom up, so I started with the body. Knit all the way up to the arm, underarm, and then I knit each sleeve. On the bottom up and the round. And then I joined them precariously to the body in the round. Did some short rows and then started doing the color work. And if you follow me on Instagram, I finished the neckline. It was a twisted rib neckline, and I just did a regular bind off. I didn't do the bind off the pattern said, and I found it really stiff and inflexible and too tall. It was hitting the front of my throat, and I know from lots of sweater wearing experience that if you're doing this when you're first trying something on, it's not going to get any better with wear. It's going to be doing that the entire time. So I knew that because I knit from the bottom up, I knew I could redo the neckline. If you knit from the top down and you have a neckline you don't like, you're kind of stuck. You could cut into your knitting and change it, do some surgery. That's a whole other skill set. Or you can go from the bottom up, and then if you don't like your neckline, you can take it out a couple times like I did and get it just right. So I went back to the last color work row. I decreased fewer stitches. I then did short rows. As you can see, there's a stockinette space there. And then I did 2x2 rib because that is the most flexible, much more flexible than a 1x1 through the back loop, twisted 1x1 rib. And I just made the neckline shorter. And I haven't blocked this yet, so I think it will look even tidier once I've blocked it. I'm gonna pay special attention to the collar when I set and pin it and stuff and try to smooth out those stitches. But it looks pretty good. Color work looks pretty good. I haven't blocked it yet. There is puckering in between each of the sections, but there's also decreases happening there. So that totally makes sense. I actually like the way that looks sort of segmented a little. But I know that when I block it, I'll be able to like smooth those stitches out. So I'm really happy with it. It's super warm. I wore it to farmer's market yesterday because we were having like temperatures in the, it was like 34 degrees when we started in the morning. So I wore a fingering store-bought thrifted wool sweater that I love as the base layer. And then I had a wool dress, merino wool dress I think I got from Madewell. That's knee length. I wore that next, and then I wore this over the top of those two. Usually wear 3 sweaters when I go to market during the real winter cold months, and I did not take it off. I didn't get overly hot. I did take my my parka off a couple times, but really I kept that on the whole time too, so it was probably one of the colder days. Hopefully one of the colder days, and it doesn't get worse, that I'm gonna experience this winter, so this was really helpful. The last piece of this sweater, I have grafted the underarms. They look good. I put in all my ends. I don't know if you've experienced the same thing, but when I haven't woven in the ends of a sweater, sometimes it makes me feel like just everything's just so messy. And it really felt good to tidy this sweater up, to change the neckline a couple times and to get those underarms grafted and all those ends woven in. So it feels almost complete. What I need to do now is block it. And then you're supposed to take a lighter blue, in this case for this color combination, a lighter blue, and duplicate stitch over the top in just a few little places every little tree motif, and that will add like a little pop of lighter blue. I'm also, in my version, going to use orange. So I got the apricot Lettlopi colorway, and I'm going to add in little bits of orange. And I thought I might actually add little bits of orange like randomly throughout the sweater in different spots, like one stitch duplicated. So one little V in like a few different spots, just for fun. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And I wanted to show you the sweater before I blocked it so you can really see a before and after. Next recording, hopefully I'll have the other color on and it will be blocked and ready for wearing. Although, of course, I wore it yesterday. So that was a big accomplishment. Feels really good to get that done. I have some things I haven't made progress on, so I won't show you my socks. And my halibut my halibut sweater by Caitlin Hunter didn't get any attention. I would really like to, but I've just got so much to do and so many projects and so much yarn that I purchased and new patterns I want to cast on. So I'm hoping to see if I can motivate myself to finish that sweater by the end of the year. Because it's really been, I think I cast it on, it may even have been a year ago. Maybe in the like early part of this year, and that's just too long for me to leave a whip languishing. But I have cast on a couple small things. This is Durham Natura, the Gilliat. I'm making another Yukon. So a few episodes ago, I've been wearing this hat for a little while now. Same yarn, same pattern. I just love it so much. It looks so good on me. It's warm. It's got fisherman's rib on the brim. I just really, really like it. So I went a little crazy for my birthday. I got some birthday money for this online shop that sells this yarn, and I got 7 more colors. Why 7? I don't know. I don't know what happened to me. But they're lovely. This one that I'm holding is, well, I wonder if the names are going to be French. This is a French yarn. No, they're sort of English. Yeah, they're in English. They're not easy to pronounce, all of them. This one is Iroise, Iroise. So it's kind of like a dusty green. It's really pretty. This will be nice with my eyes. And then I got Eucalyptus, which is even lighter and more, I think, more heathered. Then I got Eben for like a black. This is just a little bit of lighter bits in it. But this will be really nice. I always need a good black hat. And I got Forest. I'm trying to knit more green into my wardrobe. It's a good color for me. Then Biche, I think is how you say that. That's a good beige, very warm color. We'll see how this looks on my head. It might make me look like I'm bald, but we'll see. This is a really similar color to my Fjord Shawl. This is called Lahara Blue. It really is similar, especially in this light. But I love this color, so I'm happy to have a hat made out of that. And then I got Merlot. And I'm probably going to pair this one with a mohair. I've been looking for a really nice mohair wool combination for a hat, a rich, deep, saturated, dark red, almost brown. So we'll see if I can find a good pairing for this. Yeah, so I got a lot. Here's the label. Gilliat. My farmer's market has a French bread baker who booths next to me, and he's in Paris right now, but he'll be back soon. Anyways, I asked him to read this label for me, and it was just so fun to hear him speak. And he said it's very technical, and he was like talking about how the merinos, their wool is gray, and then I was like, oh, that's the process where you start with a gray base and you dye over it so that it adds like a very nice depth to color. And he was like, oh yeah, that makes sense with what it's saying. So, and he did tell me that the French word for wool is laine. You say laine. So all this time that I was thinking that magazine that people call Line or is actually should probably be said laine. So anyways, that's what my French friend said. Okay, that's some of the yarn. I have more yarn to show you. I hope you enjoyed that hour-long stash video where like some of my stash fell off and I decided to record as I went through it because I wanted to like look at what I had and kind of recall some of the yarns. Some things I didn't have any idea what they were, but it was just a small section of my stash, so I have much more than that. And I really wanted to film. I didn't probably need to film an hour long, so bless to you if you watched all of it. Blessings. But it just was good to look through these yarns and remember that they're there and handle them, and yeah, I think this would be really enjoyable to use. And I think one of the reasons why I don't use yarn from stash so much is I don't have it physically. I can see a lot of it, but I don't physically touch it and like think about it. Think about when I bought it and what I originally intended it for. Because that's really interesting to me too, is I bought all this yarn for a purpose usually. Very rarely do I just buy yarn for fun without a pattern or without an idea. So to go back through and try to remember what the intentions were behind each purchase is just really interesting. So I hope that it inspires me to use some of this stuff. Okay. Something else I cast on was the Sophie scarf by Petite Knit. I've got a little croissant as my progress keeper. This is a start at the corner and increase on one side garter stitch scarf that's very easy to do, and I started it I think about a week ago because I really needed something easy that could wrap around. It's kind of almost maybe going to be out of season a little bit. I don't know how much warmth it'll provide me. Usually we have really mild winters here, and I could get away with wearing a scarf that I can wrap. I think it's going to be able to wrap around me twice and then tie in a little cute bow. And so it's maybe a little too cold right now for something like this, but that's never a problem. You can always knit out of season for an item for an appropriate weather in the future. But I used a colorway exclusive to Tolt yarn and wool from the Farmer's Daughter Fibers. This is called Camp Tolt. And Tolt is an amazing yarn shop. If you ever come to Seattle, take an hour detour and go to the Tolt River. It used to be called Carnation. Maybe I'm confusing that. It is Carnation. Yeah. The town is Carnation, and it used to be called Tolt because the river has that name. But Carnation, Washington. So it's just off of I-5, about 40 minutes to an hour away. And I don't get to go there nearly as often because I have to go on the freeway, and it takes me, I think, 2 hours, 2.5 hours to get there if I get on the ferry and everything, and to get home. And so I order from them, and it comes like the next day or 2 days later. So they are my local yarn shop, but it's hard to get out there. Anyways, they do an event in the summer. They go to a local park that's close to the shop, and they gather and they knit in the evenings every month for the 3 months of summer. And I have done it a few different times. I haven't gone in a couple years, but this was a colorway that the Farmer's Daughter created for that event, for that shop, and Candace and I were there at the same time, and I got to meet her, so that was really fun. Anyways, I have a few skeins of this. I used it for my Cumulus Skies shawl. I used Camp Tolt Juicy DK with their Odang Surrey Alpaca base in a color called Whiskey Butte, which is a white suri with a little bit of brown. So it mirrored the little bit of brown in this colorway. Anyway, it has a white cloudy stripe with a blue sky herringbone stitch pattern. You can go to my website and Ravelry and check out that pattern. It's really, really beautiful. They only make this yarn for the shop. I don't know if they are making it on a regular basis for Tolt. But I know the Farmer's Daughter also has, I believe it's called Mountain Man. I think it's Mountain Man. It's a very similar color. It just doesn't have the brown. It's more of a solid tonal blue. It's so pretty. So, so pretty. So I was really looking through my stash. As I said, I wanted to knit more from stash. Looking through it, being like, what DK weight? That's got to be like really soft or super washed, because I'm going to wear it really closely tighter on my neck. What could I use? And I was just so excited to find one of these. Yeah. I did wear my Farmer's Market mittens yesterday at Farmer's Market. See that cable on the thumb? It's got cables on the little cuff, cables on the cuff at the base. This is my second pair of these. I'm going to be wearing them every Sunday, more and more and more. I have to use my hands a lot when I sell. I have to use my fingers, use my phone, because use a square reader to take people's money. And I have to dig through the coolers, and I'm finding meat and cheese for people, and I'm setting stuff up. And so I really got to have my fingers free. And I like the fact that if it gets really cold and no one's coming to the booth, and I can tuck my fingers in and put them in my coat. So it's kind of essential. And I need more. I'm always needing more of these. I'm still using the ones from, I don't know where I got this one. Oh yeah, I used to work at a gift store that had winter knitted gifts that were machine made from probably overseas. And I still have those. There's the one that's like totally busted out the thumb and stuff. I'm still using them because, so I don't have enough hand knit fingerless mittens for all my jackets. And every jacket has to have them in it, so that when I go out and I'm like, oh shoot, it's cold, then like they're there. And so I need to knit more, and I need to design more. I'm thinking about, I've got this cable on this thumb thing going. There's more I could do with this concept. So I'm thinking of making another pair of fingerless, another design with another thumb cable. I just love it so much. It's so cute. Anyways, that is available on Ravelry and my website too. Okay, those are the whips. Sophie scarf, Yukon hat. I'll show you my little sock that I made. I feel like I've just been showing the same piece. I haven't finished the first one. I've really been distracted by other things, but man, this is such a beautiful, it's such a beautiful yarn and a pattern. And I'm still in the process of writing it. I haven't gotten it to my tech editor yet, but that's once Fjord is out, which I'm recording this, and we'll post it many days after Fjord is released, but for me it's coming out tomorrow, so I still have work to do on that. And that's why this will be the next thing that I do. But it's also good. That's something that I will say about recording whips and like telling people about your stuff and showing people, is like, you're like, oh yeah, like this yarn's really nice and it just feels so good, and I really like that, and isn't this pretty? And someone will be really enthusiastic about what you're doing, and you'll feel a little bit more interested in your work all of a sudden. So it's a really good idea to keep talking about it. Don't just tuck it away and put it in a box or a bag and be like, oh yeah, I'll work on that later. Like bring it out and like stimulate your hands, your eyes to remember what you were inspired by originally. I find that really helps. Let's talk yarn. So I'm gonna do, I keep telling myself I'm gonna cast on these things, but I just, I'm too busy. Sometimes I have 4 jobs, and sometimes I'm living in other people's houses, so it just gets to be a lot. In fact, I want to have a little caveat and talk about our postal service, because they're really struggling. I just talked to someone yesterday who knows. I talked to someone in Seattle yesterday who knows one of the mail carriers on our island, and talking about how hard it is and that they've been working overtime and they're not getting enough employees. They're offering really high starting rates, but they can't keep anybody, I think, because the hours are hard. Maybe the hours are long, I'm not sure. And maybe people are commuting over here from the cities. So anyways, they haven't been able to keep any employees for more than 3 months. So she was like, your mail service is like gonna, just combust. And so it makes me really sad. So they're working so hard. We don't get our mail until 8:30 p.m. It's dark. As I think they're working in the office during the day and then doing overtime and coming out and delivering mail. So like, so praying for the employees of our postal service right now. And yeah, why was I going to mention that? I brought that up. I've been thinking about it a lot. Anyways, maybe because I've been buying a lot of yarn, it's been coming in the mail, and I'm like, maybe I should just not buy packages for a while, so like ease the load. Anyways. Maybe your postal service and the employees working for them are also struggling too. Okay. I hope to cast on. I will, for sure, this week. The Clairdelune socks by the Petite knitter. Make sure I give you a nice little picture here of my printed pattern. So it's a all over colorwork sock. What I love about this one, and a lot of her patterns actually too, is that their samples are knit, suggesting that you do the main color different for each sock. So one's black and one's white. And they just look so cute. And my friend Jennifer and I, we're going to do this as a cowl. And I think we both picked colorwork. Socks are a little tricky just because we generally all knit tighter when we knit colorwork and small circumferences. So we both picked a size that I think we normally would pick, and they're too small. So neither of us had a lot. We needed to rip it back, wait a while so our memory forgot, and then cast it again. And so I just asked her if she was interested in trying that again. So I'm going to go up and do, I think generally I cast on something like the 72 stitch sock or a 64. But for this one, I think I'm going to do the 80 and see if that works. And knitting one sock is kind of like a swatch, so you just knit for a little while, you knit your ribbing, and then you knit starting the color work, and then I'll probably go like 3 or 4 inches and then see if I can just even get it onto my foot and how it feels when it's right in the middle of my foot, and then I can try to see if I can get it on, even though it doesn't have a heel. I'll try to get it on over my heel, because if I can't do that, then it's probably not gonna work out, and I'll need to go up to another size. And there's a couple more sizes after that, I think, right? Yeah, there's where you cast on 88, 96, and 104. So there's a lot of space for me to play. And I'm using this time around, I used a different yarn last time, and when I went through my stash to find that yarn, I realized it wasn't a sock yarn, and that's just really not a good idea. So I'm going to use Fidley Dye Works. This is yarn I got at Knit City in 2019. It's BFL sock, so 80% blue face Leicester and 20% nylon. And the yellow is Sawyer, and the blue is Layla. And I think they're going to be great. And so I'll have one sock with the main color, the yellow, and the other one with the main color of blue. So, stash project. Okay, next pattern that I hope to cast on. Maybe I can take this as a challenge, and next time I record, I have to have something of these patterns. So this is the Camp Pullover. I probably have talked about it a couple times already. This is by Amy Christophers. Her business is called Savory Knitting. And you probably won't be able to tell, but there's eyelets in the raglan. So I have knit her Felix cardigan a couple of times. Really liked it. And I would love to knit a Felix pullover also. But I saw this one and I liked the weight of it. And so this just seems like a little more drapey. And I bought some Ultra Alpaca, which is from a company called Berroco. They're a big yarn company, make lots of different yarns. And the Ultra Alpaca is 50% wool, 50% alpaca. It's very soft. I love this yarn. I've used this exact colorway to knit a shawl, and I love it. It's just this really nice burnt orange red. It's called Mohagoney Mix is the name of this one. Color 6280. And I knit a little swatchet. And I know what size I'm going to make, and so I'm ready to go. So whenever I feel like I can actually spend some time casting on, I will cast on. It's going to be really nice. And it just has a really good drape to it. Okay, last time I said I went a little nuts and bought a lot of yarn that was rusty red. That's very true. And I don't have all of it yet. Some of it's coming from the UK, but I have a significant amount. I have 3 sweater quantities in 2 different yarns that I did get. So I was going to make the Halu pullover by Kaylin Hunter, which is really similar neckline to her Easy V sweater, but it's got lace and baubles instead of colorwork. So I ordered Harrisville's Highland, which is a worsted weight 2-ply, like woolly yarn. Softer than Lopi though. And this is the topaz colorway, and isn't it a beautiful? And this pattern is a wool paired with a mohair. So the mohair that I got is from Knitting for Olive. It's their soft silk mohair in the rust colorway. So they're gonna go really nicely together. I did get a lot of mohair and seri alpaca from the UK. It just hasn't arrived. And so there's more of this kind of color in that order. And so I may use Knitting for Olive. I may use seri alpaca, which is what the pattern was originally used with. I'm just seeing how on this mohair label it says Reach in capital letters, standard, cruelty free. So that's awesome. This mohair, there's some controversy about the mohair goats. I did also get Shetland, which is their fingering weight, in the same colorway because I love it so much. It's so beautiful. It's hard to find like the right rusty orange. So this topaz I also got in the fingering weight in a sweater quantity. I don't know what I will do it with, but it's, yeah, lovely to have a lot of this, of a colorway I really love. So yeah. All these. And I love that they're also similar. Yeah, they're pretty close. My taste was pretty precise. Yeah. So those are the new yarns, the new projects, ideas for casting on, and my finished first light. And I've got the sweater, the sock pattern, hopefully will be out sometime in December. And then I'm gonna start, once I have some free brain space, I'm gonna start thinking about designs for January, February, and March. So I'm really looking forward to branching out and doing maybe some more accessory small things. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you're knitting something really lovely and not getting too crazy with the gift knitting for Christmas. Be kind to yourself. You can only do so much. Make sure you're knitting for yourself as well. The Linus shawl that I'm gifting to my newsletter subscribers, make sure you subscribe to my newsletter, will be out sometime in the next 2 weeks. So it's going to be a free pattern for subscribers only. It's not going to be on Ravelry. It is written in super bulky Malabrigo Rasta, but that pattern is adaptable to any weight of yarn and almost any quantity of yarn. You do need to have enough to make a long enough shawl to wrap around your neck, but it's like, it's so versatile, and I look forward to giving that one to you. I'm not going to publish it. Giving that to my newsletter subscribers and making more of them. I have some plans for some mohair versions and that kind of thing in my head. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much. Happy knitting.